First up, happy birthday to the world's fastest man. He turns 23 today. Kishane Thompson, Mr. 977, Kishane the Hurricane, turns 23. Then we talk about Noah Lyles, Jamaica, and the art of war. This one is going to be really spicy, people. Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for making it Peter Lloyd World. Go ahead, please hit the subscribe button so we can continue to grow. When you do that, hit the notification bell so you know when the next video drops. To drop a video at least once a day here in Peter Lloyd World. Also, if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button and finally leave your thoughts. So, ready? Yep. Good to go. Well, he turns 23 today. We want to say happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to the world's fastest man for the 2024 season, Kishane Thompson, over the 100 meters with his 9.77. The man with the golden touch, the man who many people believe should take the gold medal at the upcoming Paris Olympic Games. Yep, Kishane Thompson, who trains with Stephen Francis over there at MVP, turns 23. So everybody, big up the boss, Kishane Hurricane Thompson. Big up yourself, my youth. Big up yourself, King. If there's one thing that one cannot say about the world champion in the men's 100 and 200 meters, the USA's Noah Lyles, is that he's not a very bright young man. The fact is, he's very intelligent. And one of the things that I've been saying on Peter Lloyd World on this YouTube channel for quite some time is that this young man is a Muhammad Ali. Now let me try to explain. I'm not saying he's the greatness of a Muhammad Ali because, I'm not in a position to make that statement. But I'm saying that I think a lot of what this young man does is head games. He's really deep into human psychology and he understands the mindset of people. He may be very young, but he's a lot brighter than you think he is. Now, recently, a whole new controversy has started because of an interview he did on YouTube with one of the US track and field channels. Great interview, by the way. I would encourage you to go watch it. But this is what has set Jamaicans alight and on fire. And then we'll talk about it. Listen.
It's funny you say that because, Janelle being Jamaican and having trained in MVP, I've been getting the drama from Jamaica in camps for at least 5 years now. There's a lot of times where I make references to Jamaicans. I'm not saying it because I'm like trying to go back and forth. It's because I know information that other people don't. And it's like Janelle and Elaine used to be very close friends. Like they were training partners through 2021, very close. Then she was extremely close with Sharika. She's still very close with Sharika. You see her in the series doing Sharika's hair. That's Sharika's wig woman right there. She's already, she was just buying wigs for Sharika to bring to the Olympics yesterday. And even talking about like Kishane Oblique, she's close with Kishane. I've known about a lot of the Jamaicans that are on the underground and usually Janelle's eye for talent is very strong. If she says that somebody's going to run fast, they usually run fast. So I'm very hip to information that a lot of people is just like, oh, this came out of nowhere. No, I kind of saw it. What were you going to say, Noah?
She spoke on Kishane pretty early, I remember. He's been this good and he just got hurt. He's about to do something crazy this weekend. And that was right before Jamaican Trials. Yeah.
And when we were in the interview and they said how fast he run, I said, I hope he stays injured.
Now, I don't know if you listening, if you're a big reader, but I would encourage you read. Trust me, it makes a huge difference in your life if you can read. One of my favorite books is a book that many people think is really just about warfare. It's called The Art of War by the brilliant Chinese general, philosopher, writer, Sun Tzu. And it's a book that has many very, very interesting quotes. And in my mind, this young man, Noah Lyles, has been fighting warfare for quite some time. He's a very smart young man. And remember, I have said repeatedly in many of our videos here, I have said Winning a race is not just about your raw speed or your technical proficiency. It is primarily about your mindset. If you are not in the right frame of mind, remember I said to you, once Sha'Carri Richardson gets her head right, she's going to be a problem. She got her head right, she became a problem. Now, this is one of several of Sun Tzu's famous quotes about the art of war from his famous book. Listen. Foreknowledge cannot be gotten from ghosts and spirits, cannot be had by analogy, cannot be found out by calculation. It must be obtained from people who know the conditions of the enemy. In this instance, that would reference Janelle Broomfield. And I don't think she's doing this purposefully. I think this is all innocent. Listen to this other famous quote from the same Art of War by the great Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu. He wrote, "It is only the enlightened ruler and the wise general who will use the highest intelligence of the army for the purposes of spying, and thereby they achieve great results." Now, in this podcast, Noah Lyles gave us a lot of information in a very short period of time. He said for 5 years, he has known the inner workings of some of the top tier athletes out of Jamaica. That's a hugely important thing. I believe, however, we're going to go through this again, when he ran against Oblique Seville at races and Oblique Seville trounced him. And some of you keep talking about he wasn't trounced. Seville beat him by over a meter in a 100-meter race. He ran 9.85 and Seville ran 9.82. And anybody who knows basic sprinting knows that the difference between 9.82 and 9.83 is at least a meter. We're going to show you the race once again. He was beaten by at least a meter. That's a huge deal for Noah Lyles, over 100 meters. Watch.
Williams, lane 3, Oblique Seville. Lane 4, Zarnell Hughes. Lane 5, Noah Lyles. Lane 6, Ferdinand Omonyala. Lane 7, Kadrian Golson. And lane 8, Josephus Lyles. The last event of Racers Grand Prix 2024, the 100 meters for men.
This event to pull the curtain down on the sixth staging of the Racers Grand Prix, the men's blue ribbon event, the marquee event, the set position. Lyles got a cracking start. Hughes, Seville and Omanyala trying to stay with them. Seville is running a stout race. Lyles coming back. Oblique Seville produces a stunning performance. Big performance on the big occasion.
Regardless of whatever you might feel and or say or whatever allegiance you have, that was a trouncing. Oblique Seville had enough time to slow down and look back at him. No one had ever done that to this young man. And I'm telling you, through Noah Lyles off in interviews after, he said, I started to run his race. I forgot my race and I need to get back to running my own race. That means he was completely flabbergasted and flustered. He thought he had a handle on Oblique Seville. And I've said in previous videos that Oblique Seville needs to get his head right. In fact, I've said several times that the one advantage that Noah Lyles actually has, because I don't think he's technically actually faster than these other athletes. He's never really beaten any of these athletes by any real distance. He's not a Usain Bolt. He gets in their heads. I mean, I remember for an entire season, he managed to convince Fred Curley that he was faster than him. That's remarkable. I mean, that's absolutely remarkable because in no way, shape, or form is Noah Lyles anything close to Fred Curley. Fred Curley is running 9.75. I severely doubt Noah Lyles will ever be able to do that. Honestly, no disrespect meant to Noah Lyles. I mean, we all have like a max. So, the fact is, this young man is a lot smarter than many of you think. Sun Tzu also says this in The Art of War. He says, the whole secret lies in confusing the enemy so that he cannot fathom our real intent. In fact, in the same interview that I just showed you a small bit of, I decided not to show this other half, he admits to saying this about Kishane Thompson. Listen to what he said about Kishane Thompson when he heard how fast he ran. Listen. Noah Lyles said, when we were in the interview and they set out how fast he ran, I said, I hope he stays injured because I know that he's had a hard history with injuries. And every time that he runs fast, he usually has to be taken off because he's usually hurt. So the fact that he was able to keep going is like, oh, this is great, you know. He's actually being able to show his full potential. Now listen to me. But that can be interpreted in a completely different manner. The fact that you bring up injury to an athlete who's injury prone and who in several of his own interviews have mentioned his injury issues, who his coach, the great Stephen Francis of MVP in a recent interview, I think with Nationwide, he said very, very distinctly, he said, I'm surprised that Kishane pushed himself so hard because he's always very aware of his injury issues. So by simply bringing up injury, Noah Lyles was actually saying the complete opposite of what he just said. He's reminding Kishane, when you run fast, Kishane, you get injured. Now this, of course, is my 2 cents. Let me explain something to you. Noah Lyles is an incredible athlete. To do what he's accomplished is no easy task. To win a gold in the 100, the 200, and in the 4x1 is no easy task, and he must be considered one of the great male sprinters of all time. But I'm going to say this again. Noah Lyles is in no way, shape, or form a Usain Bolt. He's not even a Johan Blake. I would be very, very surprised if Noah Lyles is able to run anything close to 9.75. I would be shocked. And I'm not saying he can't improve, but remember I said it's not just because the truth is at that level, they're all very close in terms of times. The only really exceptional person we've seen in quite some time in terms of just sheer fast is Kishane Thompson. But if he can get into Oblique Seville's head and Kishane's head and everybody else's head, because they all seem as unfathomable, you can't beat him. He's already won. Lyles is smart. And what he's doing to Jamaica and the athletes is really the simple art of war. A, he has the information coming from his remarkable girlfriend, Janelle Broomfield, and I think this is innocent on her part. So do not get upset with her. He has information, and knowledge, people, is always power. That's why I tell people, read. You'll be shocked the difference a little knowledge gives you, real knowledge. And he's smart. He's smart enough to understand the psychology, the importance of the mind in terms of running. His PB is 9.82. Let's say he's able to run a 9.77. Let's give him that. I'm going to say it again. Fred Curley is faster. He got into Fred Curley's head, and that was it. Fred Curley has not been able to beat him since. Noah Lyles is really good at this. Our athletes need to be better. Our athletes need to understand, and I've said this before, technically, unless he's really having a terrible day, Lyles should never be able to beat Oblique Seville ever again in history. Not over 100 meters. Shouldn't happen. Because that was a trouncing. And I know some of my American friends say, oh, it's 9.85 to 9.82. No, that's a massive distance. You saw it. Being beaten by a meter or even half of a meter in 100 meters is significant. That's significant. And me slowing down to look back at you to say, Abe, it's significant. It impacted Noah Lyles. Listen, people, we have to sometimes fight fire with fire. Lyles is a great champion. But I think Kishane could easily beat him on any given day. I honestly think Oblique could beat him in fact, I think Tibogo could beat him on any given day. But they have to believe and know that they can. This young man, maybe him chat too much in this entrance. Chat too much is a Jamaican phrase of saying maybe he talked a little bit too much in this interview. He was probably a little too relaxed. Or more likely, this was calculated. Because imagine the impact that this could have on the camp. Janelle Broomfield she's representing Jamaica in the 400 meters individually. She's going to be in the camp. There are going to be some people who are going to say, you have been feeding this man information. In fact, this interview has already stirred up controversy. We're about 14 days out, less of the Olympics. Maybe that was the whole purpose of saying these things, is to create more head games, get into people's heads, to create division, because a house divided cannot stand. Look, all I'm saying is, don't underestimate this young man. Do not let him get into your heads. understand that the truth is, by all accounts, Jamaica should walk away with a gold and at least a silver in the men's 100 meters. And the only person who could probably stop that is this young man. But this, of course, is my 2 cents.